This is the video edition of Out of Trouble. I'm your host, Jeff Leong.
And I'm Erica Terrazas with Texas Appleseed.
So our topic this week is about school conferences, and Erica's here to help us get more information about what you can expect from them. So if you get in trouble, does the school have to schedule a conference?
If you've been removed from the classroom, the school has 3 days to schedule a conference with your parents.
And who should you expect to see at the conference?
You might expect to see your principal or your assistant principal. You might also expect to see the staff person or the teacher that witnessed the incident or was involved in the incident. And depending on the severity, you might also expect to find your student resource officer or a police officer from the school district there, as well as your parents and yourself.
Okay. What are some general strategies that'll help you in these meetings?
What we recommend is that you and your parents remain calm when presenting your side. We also recommend that you actually let the school present its side of the situation before you do. It's important to remain calm. We know that these situations can be emotionally charged, and if you feel you've been treated unfairly, you really want to get your point across. But we feel it's important to remain calm and present your side in a very calm and diplomatic manner.
I guess a lot of times these things will end up in an impasse, right, where nobody really agrees. Mm-hmm. Is there something you can do to get around that?
One option you may want to consider, especially if you feel like if this is your first time getting into trouble, you might consider behavioral contract.
And what is that?
Behavioral contract is an agreement between the student and the school that the student signs saying that you're not going to participate in the behavior that got you there in the first place, and you're not going to violate terms of the student code of conduct, etc.
Okay. And are there other factors that the school considers in these conferences?
Sure. So factors that the school has to consider is whether or not you were acting in self-defense, what your intent was whenever this incident occurred, or lack of intent, or also your past disciplinary history, or if you have a disability that may impair the ability of you realizing whether or not this was wrong or right.
So those are things that every school district in Texas has to consider by law?
Yes.
Okay. So if at the end of a conference, if the school decides on something but you don't agree with that punishment, is there something you can do about that?
There may be the option of an appeals process. However, the only guaranteed appeals process under Texas law is when you're expelled. If you're suspended or sent to a disciplinary alternative education program, your school district may or may not have an appeals process. It's important to check their policy, the specific policy for that school district.
Okay, so there will definitely be an appeals process for expulsions.
Definitely.
And for other stuff, you just have to check.
Exactly.
Okay. And there's a lot of material about appeals, so we'll cover that in detail next week. But until then, thanks for watching Out of Trouble.